Yo, so UFC Vancouver, right? AKA UFC on ESPN plus 120. Now, the prelims get underway with, I think there's 7 fights on the prelims. A lot of very intriguing matchups, people, right? It all gets down with the ladies, right? The bantamweights. We have Melissa Croden against Tainara Lisboa, which is, this is a good fight. A good fight. Thai Panther, Tainara Lisboa. She is 34, 5'7", 67-inch reach. Right, she's got an overall record of 7-3. She is coming in at a loss. Right, she's 2-1 in the UFC. So won the first 2. Right, made her debut in May 2023. She choked out Jessica Rose Clark in the 3rd round with a rear naked. She then fought and beat Ravena Oliveira. Right, that one was in October, right, 2023. Ravena is also on today's card. Well, Saturday's card, I should say. Right. But she then came up against Luciano Santos and she got caught with an Americana in the 2nd round. That was this year, May 2025. Right, Lisboa, as we see from her first UFC fight, she does no submissions. Right, the fight before the UFC, she got an arm triangle. When you look at things, I think arm triangle is the one she's got the most, right? But she does get caught every now and again. She fought Norma Dumont, right, back in September 2016. I mean, Norma's huge, right? So, that was a tough one, I imagine. She got caught with a rear naked. But Lisboa has also stopped people with punches, right? So, she hasn't got knockout power, but she has been able to overwhelm a few opponents. But the thing with Lisboa, a submission is probably the key thing that she is looking for, And she does have submissions. Now, she is fighting Melissa Croden, who is also 34. She's 5'9" with a 69.5-inch reach. So 2.5-inch reach advantage, right, for Croden. She's got a 6-2 record overall. She is coming in with on a 2-fight winning streak, and she is making her UFC debut. All right, which is not many, only 2 debuts on this card, right? Only 2 debuts, but yes, Croden is one of those. So last time out, right, she fought in October 2024. She beat Ashley Dean, 2nd round ground and pound. That was with the LFA. And her fight before that was October 2023. So, it was a year apart, essentially. Also in the LFA, she got a 3rd round stoppage of Katharina Lenner. And so, she's fought a few times in the LFA and then other regional promotions. right? She's won a few with punches, and she's got one submission on the record, right? A rear naked over Jackie McLean back in January 2022. So they are well matched, you know? They are well matched. It's, Croden, I think there's been gaps, right? So Lisboa has been the one who's probably fought more recently. But, they're both kind of early in their careers. You know, when you look at it like that, right? Croden, she's 6-2. Lisboa is 7-3. So, you know what I mean? They're both coming at this from a similar, growth point, right? Now, it just kind of, I think with a fight like this, it comes down to that amateur, what you did in the amateurs, right? Did you have a load of fights, or did you just go straight pro, or just one, you know what I mean? It's like, how much knowledge have you accrued, right? And then how much are you putting into this, right? Are you in the gym studying every day, right? That's the big thing when you have two fighters like this. But yeah, it's a tricky one, right? I think, Lisboa is the most likely to win by sub, and Croden is most likely to get a stoppage. Croden's coming in on a 2-fight winning streak. She's coming in with confidence. She's got a reach advantage. She's slightly taller, right? So she has that, and it starts on the feet, right? Starts on the feet, and, Lisboa, she will throw. So I think the opportunity is there for Croden to get a finish, to land that big shot. Right? So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's, I wouldn't say that it is one of those fights where you're super confident on the outcome, but I think I am going with Melissa Croden for the win. So next we are with the middleweights. We have Azamat Bekoev against Yousri Belgaroui, I think. I know I butchered that one, people. Right, so the babyface assassin, Yousri Belgaroui, he is 33, 6'5", 79-inch reach. He's got an 8-3 record. It's on a 3-fight win streak. Right? He is a Netherlands fighter, right? So the same as Djorden. They may train together. I'm not quite sure. So yes, he is actually making his UFC debut. Right? Came via the Contender Series. He did actually fight on the Contender twice, right? Lost the first time, but, came through with a big win, right? Got a knockout in the third. That was September 2024. He stopped Tiga Iwaski, right? Before that, he won the Levels Fight League title, right? So he won that. That was February 2024. Looking at all of his other fights, right? He's got a good few by stoppage, right? Punches and all of that. And he has got an extensive kickboxing career, right? He fought Alex Pereira 3 times, won the first, and then lost the next 2. He also fought Israel Adesanya, right? He fought Israel twice, lost those. He's fought a lot of the big kickboxers, right? Jason Wilness had a win over Jason Wilness. That's big, right? He, a lot of them, right? It's impressive. It's impressive. So that would say he's got good kicks, right? You would think, right? You would think. So he's got good kicks. And as I said, right, he's got knockout wins. So there is that too. So, it'll be interesting to see how he puts it all together, right? What it will be like for him making that debut. Now, Glory had some big fights, right? When, especially, there was some of the arenas in Holland, which were always packed out, right? Because, kickboxing is huge in Holland, and other European countries. So, it'll be interesting to see how he handles the UFC stage, right? If that does shake him at all, right? Because he will be going up against Azamat Bekoev, who is 29, 6 foot, 72 inch reach. So, he has got a disadvantage in the reach, right? Bekoev by 7 inches, which is crazy. And he's slightly taller, 5 inches shorter, right? But Iron is ready. He's got an overall record of 20-3, and he's on an 8-fight win streak. Woo! It's not bad, right? 8-fight win streak. He's 2-0 in the UFC, right? So he made his debut in January, right, this year. He beat Zach Reese, first round, ground and pound stoppage, right? And then he fought in May, and he stopped Ryan Loader again in the first round, right? He does throw hard, you know what I mean? Does throw hard. He was the former LFA middleweight champion too, right? So, he's got that, right? He has got that. He won the interim belt, and then he unified it. So, he's got, a few submissions, right? Guillotine, rear naked, arm triangle, right? So he's got a few of those, couple of north-souths, right? He's got a number of different skills, right? A number of different skills. He is violent. He's a fucking monster, right? Oh boy, he's a monster. It is hard to bet against Bekoev, right? It's definitely hard, and I'm not going to. I'm picking Azamat for the win, right? Iron stops an assassin. So we are back with the ladies now. We have the strawweights taking the stage. It is Stephanie Luciano against Ravena Oliveira, right? So, Kennedy, right? Ravena Oliveira. She's 28, 5'5", 65-inch reach. Right? She's got an overall record of 7-2-1. She is coming in off of a loss. Right? She she fell in her UFC debut, right, against Tainara Lisboa, right? So that was October 2023. So it's been a minute, right? Been a minute since she's been in a fight, right? Now, her fight before signing with the UFC, she won the title at LKC, right? I'm not sure what it stands for, but yeah, that's where she fought and she won. Now, looking at that, so that was a stoppage, right? She's got a few stoppages. She also was the champion at MC Fights as well. So a couple of regional belts, right? And a good few first round stoppages as well. Right, so she has those skills, but it's regionals, So it's always hard because when you look at the opposition, you know what I mean? What would they like? All of that kind of jazz, So there is that. And she is going up against Rondina Stephanie Luciano. Right? Now, Luciano, she is 25, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach. Overall record of 6-2-1. And she is also coming in off of a loss. Right? So, she is 1-1 in the UFC. She did fight on the Contender. She got a draw. All right, so that was the fight with Talita Alencar, which took place in September 2023. They both made it to the UFC. Right, Dana was impressed. And they rematched in their first UFC fight. Now, she beat Alencar, right? Unanimous decision. That was August 2024. But then she went up against Sam Hughes. She lost, but it was a split decision. That was March this year. So when you look at the record, right, she's got a lot of her fights do go to a decision, right? So, she can go the full 3 rounds, right? We see that for sure. She's tough. She puts on a fight, right? That Contender Series fight was good. That was a good fight. She weathered the storm, With this one, I think I'm going with Oliveira, Ravena Oliveira for the win, people. So we then go back to the middleweights in an intriguing affair. We have Danny Barlow v. Djorden dos Santos. Right? If I've pronounced that correctly, who knows, right? The Djorden dos Santos, he's 28, 6 foot, 75.5-inch reach. Shakur, right? He's got an overall record of 10-2. He's coming in off of a loss, right? Which was his UFC debut, right? He got a contract via the Contender Series. He beat Will Curry. It went to a decision. That was September 2024. Fought Ozzy Diaz in his debut. That was March this year. That went to a decision. So outside the UFC, right, he has got a few decisions. One submission in his second pro fight. A couple of, finishes with ground and pound and punches. But yeah, a lot of the wins are decisions. So he will be stepping in there against left hand of God, Danny Barlow, right? Barlow is 30, 6'2", 79-inch reach. He's got a 9-1 overall record. He is also coming in off of a loss, right, which was his third fight in the UFC. Came via the Contender Series, right, which was September 2023. Got a first round stoppage of Raheem Forrest. He made his debut against Josh Quinlan. Third round stoppage, February 2024. He then beat Nikolai Vertanikov. All right, that went to a split decision, August 2024. Barlow did miss weight for that one. And he lost to Sam Patterson this year. God damn it, because I picked Barlow for that fight. And Patterson caught him, man. Caught him with a really good freaking shot. But Barlow got a little cocky, right? Because Barlow was looking good. Looking good. And he came in with his hand down. And then just got caught with a hook. Pow. But yeah, I think that was one of those fights that I think will be very valuable to Barlow. You know? Because it shows you might be winning, you might be looking good, but no lapses in judgment, man. Always keep that guard up, you know? So, he's been stopping people, right? He's been murking people on the regionals. Does have one sub, right? A Kimura, yeah? But it's mainly the hands for Barlow. And I think he's going to get back on the winning track here. So I'm picking Barlow for the win. So we then go to the flyweights. We have Bruno Gustavo da Silva against Park Hyun-sung. Oh, no, I think it's Hyun-sung Park, right? I mean, yes, because you always have to read it the other way around, right? So with this one, Hyun-sung Park is 29, 5'7", 66-inch reach. Peace of Mind has an overall record of 10-1, and he's coming in off of his first loss, right? He's 3-1 in the UFC, and his loss was August this year. He lost to Tatsu Taira. Got caught in the second round with a face crank. All right. He won his debut. Right, beat Shannon Rops. Oh, no. My bad. He beat Sungok Choi. Right, got a submission, rear naked in the third. That was February 2023. He then beat Shannon Ross, second round stoppage, December 2023. Got a Performance of the Night award for that one. And then he beat Carlos Hernandez in May this year. First round rear naked, right? But yeah, just fell to Tatsu Taira, who is, Taira's tough, right? So, Bulldog Bruno Gustavo da Silva. He's 35, 5'4", 66-inch reach. Overall record of 14-7, 2-1, no contest. Right, he is 4-4 in the UFC with 1 no contest, and he's coming in off of a 2-fight skid. But those 2 fights, right? There was Manel Cap, December 2024, and then Joshua Van, right? June this year, 3rd round knockout. And Van looked so good in that fight, right? So good. It was crazy because you just thought Van was going to win via decision. And then in the 3rd, he just landed a beautiful shot and got the finish. Right? But yeah, Da Silva, he is tough, right? As I say, he's 4-4 in the UFC. He lost his first, he drew his first fight. No, it was a no contest, my bad. That was October 2019. Then he lost to, right? David Dervac. That was March 2020. And Tagir Ulanbekov, October 2020. Then he put together a nice little streak, right? 4 wins. JP Boys, Victor Rodriguez, Tyson Nam, and Cody Djorden. So, put together a nice string. And in all of those fights, right, those 4 wins, he got 4 Performance of the Night bonuses. Right? So that tells you something about Da Silva. He is tough, and he can put together a very good, a very good performance. Ooh, yeah, it's an interesting one, this, but I think I am going with Hyun-sung Park, right? Hyun-sung Park for the win. So we then go to the Bantamweights, right? So we have Cody Gibson against AoriQileng. Okay, so the Mongolian murderer, AoriQileng. He's 32, 5'7", 69.3 reach. Overall record of 25, 12, and 1 no contest. Right, he's coming in off of a loss. He's 3-4 with 1 no contest in the UFC. Right, he's last time out he lost to Raul Rosa Jr. That was September 2024. Went to a decision. Had a no contest with Daniel Marcos. I believe it was, an illegal blow in the 2nd round. Beat Johnny Muniz Jr. Right, October 2023. Ayman Zahabi, who is on the card, right? He stopped him in the 1st round in June 2023. But, he won 2 before that, right? Cameron Else and Jay Perrin. He lost his first 2 fights in the UFC. Jeff Molina and then Cody Djorden, making his debut in April 2021. Right? Outside the UFC, he had a few stoppages. He's had, submissions. Well, 1 submission, technically. But he's been fighting a long time, right? Definitely fighting a long time, doing his thing. As you can see by the record. Now, he's going up against Cody Gibson, the Renegade, who's 38, 5'10", 71-inch reach, an overall record of 21-11, right? So they both had a similar number of fights, right? And Gibson, he's got an overall record of 3-6. He's coming in off of a loss, right? Which was March this year, a second round submission finish from Damon Blackshear, right? He did, though, after losing his first 2 fights in the UFC, right? After, the Ultimate Fighter, right? Because, he was on the season that was ultimately run by Brad Katona, becoming the first person to win it twice, right? So, he got to the final of the Ultimate Fighter, lost to Katona in the final in August 2023. He then lost to Mike Jones, March 2024. Then he won 2 fights, right? He beat Brian Kelleher, arm triangle, and went to a decision with Chad Anheliga. So, he's put in work, right? He's fought some very good opposition. And he's got AoriQileng this time out, right? So, it's interesting, right? Very, very interesting. He does, he's won via submission. He's won via stoppage, all right? And he does go to a decision a good few times, right? So this is his second stint in the UFC. In that first stint, right, which started, right, all the way back February 2014, right? His debut was against the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. You know what I mean? So, that time, right, he lost. He won his next fight, beat Johnny Bedford, but then lost the next 2. Manny Gamburian and Douglas Da Silva Andrade. Right, so, he was on the regionals, right? On the regionals, worked his way back, which tells you a lot, man. There's tenacity, determination, right? Hard work. So he's definitely put in that time. And I think he's probably fought the tougher competition to a really young, right? I would say he's fought the tougher competition. But it is a well put together fight. I think here I'm taking Gibson for the win. All right, gonna take Cody. Let's see what he can do. So we are now at our last fight on the prelims, the first of the lightweights, right? And this is Kyle Prepolec against Drew Dober. Ooh, which is it's a fun fight, right? So Drew Dober, it's actually Andrew, right? So he's 36, 5'8", got a 70-inch reach. His overall record is 27-15 and 1 no contest. Right? He is 13-11 with 1 no contest in the UFC. And what's crazy, he's on a 3-fight losing skid. Right? Which, man, it feels crazy, right? So it all started February 24. Lost to Renato Moricano via decision. He fought Jean Silva, right? That was such a bloody affair, if you remember. Face just red. Now, the doctor stopped that one, right? Got fight of the night. And he got finished by Manuel Torres this year in March, which definitely that was a surprise. That was a surprise. You know, because people don't usually take Dober out that quick. You know what I mean? He's lost some, but yeah, he is tough, right? He is tough for sure. And he's fought he's fought a lot of killers, right? Fought a lot of killers. Islam Makhachev, right? That was a short notice affair, if I remember correctly. He's fought Matt Farola, Terence McKinney, King Green, right? Got those wins. Favola did stop him, but yeah, beat Ricky. His last win was against Ricky Glenn in October 23, right? That got performance of the night, but boy, his last win 2023, which seems so crazy when you're talking about Drew Dober, you know? So crazy. Now, he is going up against Killshot, right? Kyle Prepolec, who is 36, 5'10", and also has a 70-inch reach, right? So, yeah, he's 2 inches taller, but has the same reach as Dober. Now, he's got an overall record of 18-9, right? He's coming in off of a loss. And, yeah, he needs this one, right? He is 0-3 in the UFC, right? So, he, he was in the UFC, right? He then got cut. So he made his first debut back in May 2019. Lost to Nordin Taleb, right? Then lost to Austin Hubbard. Got cut, right? So the Hubbard fight, that was September 2019, right? So he came back, I believe it was short notice, in May this year. Got stopped by Benoit Saint-Denis, right? Second round arm triangle. So, yeah, right? This fight, he, hasn't won in the UFC. He hasn't had his hand raised. And he wants that. He's on home soil, right? So he definitely wants to get that win, right? Because, I can't remember where, so the Saint-Denis fight was in Montreal at UFC 315, you know what I mean? Which was, that was the fight that was headlined by Bilal Muhammad, Jack Della Maddalena, and Shevchenko, right? Valentina Shevchenko against Marion Farrow. All right, so, got to fight on home soil and he lost. So he's got that bad taste in the mouth, right? He doesn't want lightning striking twice. But he is going up against Drew Dober, who, Drew's a beast. Drew's a beast. So there's a lot of weight on his shoulders, right? A lot of weight on his shoulders. There is the potential of being cut once more if he loses this one. So there is that. Unfortunately, right, for Prepolec, I am also taking Drew Dober for the win. You know, anything can happen for sure. But, man, like, Dober has fought the higher quality of opponent, right? And he's been stopped by, you know, crazy good fighters. So I think fighting Prepolec, there's not anything he hasn't seen before. So I think he's going to have a bit too much for Kyle here. So that's why I'm taking Drew Dober for the win. Should be a fun fight, right? Because they both coming off losses, right? They both desperately want the win. So, and the way they fight, they, you know what I mean? They go to war, right? So I think it's going to be a fun fight to take us to the main